Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is Kathy Brandon. I'm the owner of the Ready for Happiness group. You may know me as the Happiness Chick, or you may have come over and seen some of our videos at KathyBrandonSpeaks.com. This morning we're going to talk to Michael Harris again, and as most of you guys know, if you want to run over to my YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/happinesschick, all one word. You can meet Michael. We've had a lot of conversations with Michael, so I certainly urge you and invite you to go over there and listen to Michael. I'm a therapist and a PhD located in the Dallas area. What we wanted to talk about today with everybody is emotional. Michael, tell us exactly that language, because I keep messing it up and I'm not sure why. Probably because I need to hear what you have to say, but tell us the exact language.
It's called emotional state management. We all have opportunities on a daily basis to have a great day, to have a bad day, to have a neutral day. It's all based on how you perceive the type of day that you're having. And one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this is frequently I have people come into my office, and they are in absolute crisis. And think of it this way, Kathy. Put a 2x4 on between two buildings and walk out into the middle of it. Now stand on one foot while you're juggling 3 balls in the air. Now quick, make a good decision. Okay, so learning how to manage your emotional state and learning how to put yourself into a resourceful state so that you can make decisions about your life, particularly when they're large decisions that affect where you live. Are you going to stay in this job? Are you going to continue to work on this relationship? Do you have a significant health problem or an illness or an injury that requires you to make good decisions about what you're going to do next? And it seems curious to me that a lot of people don't spend any time cultivating an ability to put themselves into a very, very resourceful state before they make a decision.
You know what's funny, Michael, is I think that's a relevant conversation for us to have, because here's what I see people do, right? Is somehow we seem to think that we can multitask. Okay, that's the first lie. The second lie is, you just described my Monday. I had a pretty good Monday. I try to keep a pretty happy disposition about things. But when we're talking about like really being efficient and staying on point with your day, in my profession, I'm in the self-development profession, and so it's all about living healthy. And so managing my emotions, I'm not an overly emotional person by nature. I'm not a big crier. I'm not, not that maybe I shouldn't be. But the thing that I want to ask you about that is, okay, most of the time we don't want to have a conversation about emotions in the first place. Most regular people.
Mm-hmm.
People consider emotions a weakness. And so, maybe we can back up a touch and let's just talk about, okay, how do we open up the conversation about emotions and how vital emotions are, and then the balancing and the managing of them when we make decisions. Does that make sense?
Sure. Think about it this way. I know that you play Frisbee golf.
Right.
Okay? And I know that you've been playing for a while, and surely you've had a good game.
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do as an experiment is think about one of the days that you were playing where you absolutely could do no wrong. All you had to do was look at the pin and you just throw the disc and it went in. Okay? All right. So think about that picture and make it big and bright and three-dimensional. Now step into it.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, just go ahead and close your eyes for a second because that's how you do that. Okay,
Right.
while you're standing in that place, what else is possible? Okay, so you're having a great game of frisbee golf, and you're absolutely doing everything that you need to do. It's completely effortless. Okay, now what would happen if you could access this emotional state when you were planning? Okay, come back out here. Open your eyes.
I'm taking a nap.
No,
You're putting me down.
if you could access that emotional state when your kids bring home, something other than an A, or
Right. Right.
or you go to the grocery store and you come outside and you decide that some person really needed to express themselves artistically with a key down the side of your new car. Okay, that would be a great time to remember that you can step into that emotional state anytime that you want.
Now, okay, so in your experience, Michael, I mean, it sounds good in theory, right? It sounds all healthy and wonderful. But, people who aren't, they're not diehards like us in the self-development realm. Like, they just kind of want to get through life and, kind of have a peaceful life. So, what can we talk to them about, just maybe a minute or so around how to really help people understand that our emotions are truly power once we understand how to manage them? Because that's what I'm hearing in this situation is, okay, the feeling that I experience when I'm having that excellent golf game and the emotional state, the freedom, the oneness with energy and math and, all the elements that disc golf are for me. I can take that into other environments, but, with specific thinking, like, say, for example, my kids were just off the charts insane yesterday. Now, I had the option of putting myself in that disc golf state or not, but I didn't remember that was a choice. Right, in the whole like, okay, well, you need to go to timeout for this, and you need to go to timeout for that. So let's talk about that. Like, other than just stopping and taking a second, which we all know we should do, what can we kind of put in there? Like, what's some language that you can throw out there for us that says, hey, your emotions aren't bad, they're power. How can we change that mindset around emotions?
Well, one of the things that people need to think about is the best time to make decisions is when there's nothing going on.
Right, but that's not how life comes at us.
Well, that's true and not true.
Or let me change it. That's not how we see life when we're in the day-to-day. We're going to the job, right. We're doing this.
Okay. Well, if you think about in terms of, and I'm going to put this in sports performance modality, because that's one of the things that I do is I coach sports performance. Yeah. You've got people out there, athletes, and I seem to attract people from the gymnastics world, and they go to competitions all the time. And if you are, the very first competition that you ever go to, or, I got a great idea. You love to play frisbee golf. You and I go play frisbee golf, but this time let's play for $1,000. Okay, does that change the game?
Well, it does. I mean, it certainly does for me. It adds pressure.
Okay, but it really doesn't change the game. It only changes your perception of the game. Okay, so if you and I go play frisbee golf, and you go, okay, we're going to play this hole right here, and whoever wins this hole, we're going to buy the other one a cup of coffee.
Right.
Okay, it's no big deal. It's a cup of coffee. Okay, but on the next hole, I pull out 10 $100 bills and go and say, okay, on this next hole, we're playing for $1,000. What has changed?
You're
Nothing.
right. My belief in the stake.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way that you handle this is that you practice putting yourself into the state, and then you imagine or you remember a specific situation, and you step into that emotional state, and then you go into the state where your performance was something other than stellar, and you literally rehearse your success. I think that you hit the nail right on the head where you talked about, well, most people don't live like that. Well, I understand. The reason that they don't is because nobody has ever taught them that they're the ones who are in control, not of their situation, but of their response to the situation. And I'm going to use an acronym. I know you've heard it a million times. Proper preparation precedes peak performance. Okay, the
Right.
5 P.
Right.
Okay, it's just that for a lot of people, it has never occurred to them for them to imagine their children coming home, and they've been in a fist fight, or that you've had a flat tire, or if you're anywhere near 635 or 75, the mathematical possibilities of you having a fender bender, they go up every time that you drive your car. So is it possible that you could practice managing your emotional state when these unforeseen things happen? Yes, it can. It's just that most people don't have a coach, or they're not working with anyone that's going to say, okay, hey Kathy, we're going to practice, you being all cool, laid back, and mellow, and when you're ready, I'm going to kick you in the shin.
Right.
Okay.
And this is part of the reason that I don't tournament in disc golf. Anyone who knows me knows that I love disc golf, but I don't tournament. And I love tournaments, but I don't do that, because when I get myself into a situation of that sort, I wasn't into sports when I was a kid, so I didn't learn to put myself into that state of being. I get T-box nerves. So this is exactly what that is. It's a matter of putting myself in that state, and the practice of that over and over and over again. And so, yeah, I think this is awesome.
Well, this is one of the reasons that when people that own companies, they're looking for, when they're hiring an employee, one of the questions that they're going to be asking is, did you participate in competitive sports? Were you in the service?
Right.
And the reason that they want someone who has military service, or that they want competition experience, is what happens when the pressure goes up? What happens when you have to make the sale, or you have to finish this deadline? And when you have employees, and if you got one employee here and one employee here, and this one, they have the exact same credentials. If you have this one over here that has competitive experience, it raises their ability to handle things.
Yes, I agree. Excuse me.
So
I agree.
If you don't have that, as a strategy, you can learn it. Okay. Yeah. Now here's something really interesting. People have a tendency to pigeonhole their experiences. So you might have Joe Bob or Betty Lou, who they are a ferocious competitor on the baseball field, or when they go biking, or when they go bowling, or whatever it is. And then they go to work, and they're just like, milksop. They just go with the flow, and they do whatever, they do whatever it is the crowd is doing.
Right. It's
because they've never taken that strategy and mapped it across into this context. So when I'm talking about emotional state management, I'm not talking about really teaching anybody anything new. I'm talking about teaching them that they already have this strategy resident, and then mapping it across into different contexts that gives them the ability to use those skills when it's really, really important. When I played baseball, I always batted like third or fourth. Okay, and if you know anything about baseball, those are the cleanup strategies. Those are the people that, doesn't matter what the situation is, doesn't matter who the pitcher is, when they go to home plate, they're going to get on base, or they're going to hit the ball, and they're going to succeed. Okay, that is called a clinch or a pressure player, and there are a lot of people out there, particularly guys with tons of testosterone, that absolutely love that pressure situation. That's when they excel.
Right.
Now, conversely, here's something really interesting. What if you've got a person who has an entire career of he's the pinch hitter, he's the guy who comes in that brings, he's the guy who brings the money home when it really, really matters.
Right.
But he doesn't have a strategy for living his life outside of crisis. What's he going to do?
And I want to stop here because I think that's a good question, and we've run out of time. We are going to meet next week at the same time. What Michael and I have decided to do is we are creating a weekly television show. It's going to be online. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about exactly this. We're going to talk about exactly how can you put your state of mind into a place consistent in your life, whether you're in crisis, whether you're in peace mode, whether you're going after a new job, whether you're going after a new client, whether you're, publicly speaking, flying, any of those things. What we want to do is we want to provide a venue for you guys to come and get educated and get practice. And so what we're going to do over time, over the next few weeks, is we are going to open this up as a public forum. So Michael and I are going to jump on a Google Hangout. You guys can jump on. We can have a conversation. And so I do want to leave it with that because I do want to leave everybody hanging a little bit for next week's show.
Why do you think they call it a hangout?
Yeah, a hangout. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to close the show for now. Michael, I really appreciate you being here and talking to us, kind of whetting our appetite a little bit for this conversation. And next week at the same time, I'm going to post it on my Google page. We will have another session with Michael. And so thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. And Michael, tell us how to get in touch with you. Will you tell us your phone number and your web address, please?
Sure. It's drmichaelharris.com. And hang on, I'll give them the number.
Okay.
Because of course I don't have it pulled up. You know that whole proper preparation thing that we were talking about?
One of the things I really like about the people that I work with and the people that I collaborate with is I love the fact that you guys don't try to walk around like you're, these perfect entities. I like the fact that, you're scrambling for your own phone number. And you'll say it out loud, like, okay, hang on a second. I just love that realness of Michael. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that. I know it's little, but in my opinion, it matters when it comes to a practitioner if they'll be real with you about who they are. Give us your phone number.
Well, it's not pulling up.
It's not? Okay.
It's not, but I can tell you that if you go to drmichaelharris.com, the phone number is about that big right across the top bar. It's my and it's actually a Google phone number. You can call and leave me a message, and I will call you right back. It comes right to my phone. I just don't want to give my cell phone out, globally.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Michael, and everybody join us next week. Please stay in touch with my Google page, and I'll keep you posted on when you can talk to Michael. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.